Holy moly. Holy moly. Ooh, holy moly. LSU led 8-1. An 8-run eighth inning and a walk-off homer in the bottom of the ninth for Ole Miss. And LSU gags away a golden opportunity to sweep Ole Miss on the road. Oh, that one is devastating. That's devastating. All right, let's talk. All right, we got all this stuff fired up. Hit me up with your comments. What are your thoughts? LSU loses to Ole Miss. Let's just go to the end of the game first. So I thought Javen Coleman was awesome to get out of trouble in the seventh. And remember, Bianco and Thompson had the miscommunication on the pop fly. Shouldn't have even been in trouble in the seventh and got out of it. I had no problem going back to Coleman to start the eighth, none whatsoever. And then of course they start the eighth by dropping another pop up on the left side of the infield. I had no problem going back to Coleman to start the eighth. After that pop up, and certainly when he put a second man on, that should have been the hook. I had no problem. I thought Edwards would be poised and fine in that situation. He's been poised all year. Waiting until the bases are loaded. Well, then, of course, Coleman gives up the 3-run homer. Even at that point, when Coleman gave up the 3-run homer, he should have been hooked. He should have been hooked before. As soon as two guys got on, he should have been hooked. He worked out of trouble each of the previous two innings, so I'm sure that's some of what Maneri was thinking right there. But he should have been hooked. This is in hindsight. I mean, this is a coach making a terrible mistake and leaving a pitcher in too long. I'll tell you, the grand slam, I absolutely loathe that park. That off the bat, I thought was a pop fly out, a routine fly ball to center. But that's 390 to straightaway. Keep in mind, 390 to straightaway doesn't even get to the warning track at the box. This is a different conversation for a different day, and I know that I'm like super out in left field on this one, no pun intended, but I'm all for uniform dimensions at ballparks. If the pitching mound is 60 feet 6 inches, if it's 90 feet between the base paths, then damn it, you need to have uniform dimensions down the line, power alleys, straightaway center field. You can have all the character you want around a ballpark while having uniform dimensions at the park. I hate the fact that kid hit a fly ball on a windy day, which was a pop fly on a windy day, and it got out on such a critical spot because it's 390 to straightaway center. I'll get off my soapbox with that. I don't think that Garrett Edwards made a bad pitch. I mean, he kept the pitch down. That kid from Ole Miss had a great weekend, and he just golfed one up into the wind, and it carried over the fence. So you're tied, and then they pinch hit, Drost doubles, and then Bianco and Milazzo strike out. I mean, those two guys are just outs in your lineup. It's what they are. I said it all weekend. I don't know why Bianco was playing all weekend. Milazzo, you don't have another option, and he's a great defensive catcher, so he's going to be in the game. But that's just brutal. That's a brutal loss. I mean, we talked last weekend, and we'll go big picture here in a second. I'll get some of your comments and everything, but we talked last weekend after LSU lost Game 2 against South Carolina, the first game of the doubleheader, about how devastating that was, because that and the Tennessee game, Game 2 against Tennessee, you blew games that you had leads in the final inning, and those two games flipped your whole approach in the standings, which is why you were going to need to do something atypical, something improbable to to get yourself into contention for a regional berth. And they did that this weekend, quite honestly. I mean, they took 2 out of 3 against Ole Miss. They should have had a sweep. They didn't, but they took 2 out of 3. So they put themselves at least in a position where you take one against Arkansas, you win each of your final 3 series. You put yourself in a position to where you can be, you can make a strong case to be in the postseason. That's there, but you're going to look back at these games. Game 2 against Tennessee, Game 2 against South Carolina, and the one you just blew, that's 3 games right now. Think of it right now. You could very well, you should be 9-9 in conference play. You should be 500 in conference play with a chance against Arkansas this weekend and 3 winnable series down the stretch. And if that's the case, then you're talking about regional host site and contending for a national seed. But instead, you are where you are. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. Please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. That's how YouTube knows to show this to people, so hit the thumbs up. I appreciate that greatly. If you would just hit the like button, that's a massive help. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Appreciate that. Doing a lot of live stuff. I've been on Facebook forever. I'm offering YouTube as a platform to a lot of people who don't have Facebook, so please hit that like button and subscribe. You led 9-1. You led 9-1, and you gagged it away. That's massively disappointing. Megan Hurst, Tyler Lambert, Lane Ward, Chad Arnold, Brant Roban, Matt Lusto. Matt Lusto said, "How close was the pitch?" So when Maneri got run, it was after when he came to hook Coleman, but he was given the umpire the business because of the called ball 4 that was borderline. I didn't have a problem with calling that a ball. It was a borderline pitch. It was close. He didn't get the call. I mean, if the shoe were on the other foot and and LSU is batting, I'd want the same call. I didn't have a problem with the way that the game, the way the umpire called the game today. I didn't. I don't think there was anything egregious. I mean, that was a close pitch. You'd love to get the call. You didn't get it. So it's hard to argue that way. It was close. I mean, it was definitely close. But I still say look, I mean, at that point, Maneri should have never let it even get to that point with Coleman. I mean, Coleman, I thought, pitched beautifully, out of trouble for the previous 2 innings, and it shouldn't have gotten to that point. Jeff Stipe, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. The difference, Jeff, is that this week it was actually 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Because you gained ground this weekend. You won a road series against a ranked team, and you made up ground in the standings. You would have loved to have swept this series, but I think in context, it is important. Listen, y'all, I'm not going to excuse what just happened. I mean, you led 9-1 with a chance to sweep a road series in the SEC. It's hard to win a road series in the SEC. You had an opportunity to sweep a road series in the SEC. You led 9-1. You gagged it away. I'm not excusing that. I'm not going to excuse that. But I think big picture, you got to remember in context that they did go win a road series when what we were talking about, what I was talking about, all of us collectively, you had to win 1 against Ole Miss, 1 against Arkansas, and win each of your final series against Auburn, Bama, A&M, and that puts you at 12 wins, and you were going to have to get another game somewhere. Either take the series against Ole Miss, Arkansas, or sweep one of those final 3 to get you to 13, and they did it. So they did what they needed to do. Now you have to find a way to get 1 game at home this weekend against Arkansas, which is the number 1 team in the country. Find a way to get 1 at home, and then you set yourself up for the final 3 weekends to be able to make that run that'll get you into regional play. But I think they're a team that they're what they are, man. You don't have someone that can come in and slam the door. I think this isn't a super mentally strong team right now. They're young, and they just experienced that for the first time, man. Trying to sweep a series on the road in a big environment with a lot of fans and morons throwing beer in the outfield, and And when the ball started rolling downhill, they couldn't stop it. They didn't have a stopper, someone that could come out of the bullpen and just slam the door. So that's a bummer. Rode Yule, Brittany Della Husse, unbelievable but completely shocked. That's an interesting way to put it. If you're on Facebook, also please do us a favor, hit the share. And let me shout out Hudco, of course. A lot of bad weather in the area last night. So if you had bad weather and you need a roof inspection, give us a shout at Hudco. We'd appreciate it. Stephen Upshaw, Mark Bork, Kirk Taylor, Brant Roban. Hope that doesn't cost us big if we only get like 12 SEC wins. I mean, look, the thing that they've just got to do, the thing they've absolutely got to do is you got to get one this weekend against Arkansas. You just got to. And listen, here's the thing. It's Saturday. You get an extra day of rest to come back for a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series. Get everybody right. Find a way to scratch out one against Arkansas next weekend. If you do that, you put yourself in a really good position. I'm going to jump over here to YouTube real quick. Cajunomics, what's up? Maybe the loss to Florida in the championship was the last time I was upset. Interesting. Trivia, what up? I blame you, man, because I did do a live companion show. I mean, they were up 9-1. They didn't need my help. Let's see. SRT 86.4. What's up? Y'all, please on YouTube, hit the likes. Bianco taking those 2 pitches down the plate. Look, man, Bianco is what he is. I mean, I'll pull these numbers up again if you need to hear them again. But this shouldn't in any way surprise anybody at this point. It's what Drew Bianco is. The problem is insisting on playing him. 46 at-bats for Drew Bianco and 20 strikeouts. I mean, he strikes out nearly half of his at-bats. He's not a competent SEC hitter. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not criticizing. I'm not trying to be critical of the kid. I don't blame him. It's what he is. He strikes out. So he's in there against Broadway at the end of the game, who's a strikeout pitcher and a back of the game closer, an elite one for Ole Miss. I mean, what did you expect? I mean, you had your 8, 9-hole hitters who are automatic outs in the game. I mean, at that point, if I'm Alan Dunn, I'm substituting. I'm getting another bat. You'd already pitch hit Drost. Give me somebody else. I know you don't have this abundance of bats on the bench. Maybe go get Mitchell Sanford. Get Will Safford. Give me a bat off the bench that might be able to go battle and give me a competitive at bat. I mean, that's the one thing I could tell you was why is he there at that point? William Hodges, expletive this team, clean house. Well, William, I mean, I think we all understand at this point that we've talked about it so much. I think this is Palmineri's last season. I'd be really surprised at this point if it wasn't. You know, I think he's going to retire after this year from everything that I see and hear and signs pointing to, and I would love for them to be able to get into the postseason and maybe go on a little bit of a run. A win today would have made regionals not a lock. Certainly things as we've seen can ebb and flow with this team, but a win today, sweeping this series, getting yourself to 7 conference wins at the halfway point, would have made it more likely than not that you'd be in. Now you got some work to do after this one. You still got some work to do. Kelly Gross, David Furr, nice to see Paul show some life out there. I need to see when the last time he got run. I literally cannot remember a time. I don't remember offhand a time Palmineri got run. I don't. So you can just tell what that game meant and how he was feeling at that moment. He got his money's worth though. Danny Savoy, Adam Tower, Shatner and McCants tattooed those balls. Adam, look, man, I'll go look at the McCants one again, the Grand Slam. It looked like a fly ball. It looked like a pop-up off the bat, man. The pitch had some sink on it. He went down and got it, and he golfed it into center. I mean, it went 390, bro. It went 390 with the wind pushing it. It's just, anyway. Michael Sutherland, what's up? Clifford Moore, Rick David, Brian Biggers. They won the series when it was thought they would lose all three. Let's look at the positives. There's truth. And look, Brian, here's the other thing too, man. LSU caught a massive break this weekend. You caught, like, this isn't something that necessarily that we'll talk about a lot, but you not facing Gunnar Hoagland this weekend, you caught a massive break. Because if you had to face Hoagland on Thursday and you lose that game, what's to say the ball doesn't roll in the other direction? And then you lose this series. So you got to run Marceau out there against their former number 3, Derek Diamond, who'd been demoted, and you end up winning that game. So you caught a break in game 1. They caught a break or they rallied in game 3. I mean, and then you outlasted them in game 2. So LSU won the series. I would have loved to sweep. It's miserable to think about what you lost, the opportunity that was right there. Now 3 times you've blown games like that. It's devastating, man. Chad Crochet, Logan Mitchell, Craig Duga, Paul. Jerry losses on Paul Maneri. He did Coleman no favors. Listen, I'll go back to it again, just for those who've just jumped aboard with us. If you missed my thoughts at the beginning of it, I had look. Javen Coleman got out of trouble. That really wasn't his fault because of in the 7th, the pop up that Bianco and Thompson misplayed. He shouldn't have even been in trouble. And even in the 8th, when Doty and Thompson misplayed the pop up, he should have been out of that inning before he gave up the 3-run homer. I mean, it should have never come to what it did. He induced 2 infield fly balls that infielders in consecutive innings that infielders muffed. They screwed it up. I had no problem sending Coleman back out there for the 8th. Once 2 men were on, that should have been the hook. And he was losing his command at that point. Coleman ended up with 70. Let's see what his pitch count was for the game. I think 70, if I remember offhand, 73 pitches, I think, is where Coleman ended up. Let's see. I just want the box score. Gosh, dog it. Well, it's not listed there. Okay, I'll get the box score when it's. Let's see if LSU's emailed the box score yet. There's Lenny. Trivia. Lenny just honked. Oh man. Let me see. Sometimes they email the box score after the game. Let me see if they did it yet. Nope, not yet. I'm waiting on the box score. Let's see. Jeremy Fontana, Keith Bowder. How does a coach let a game lead like that get away? Always sees pitchers getting hit. And I think, let's see. Here we go. Jake, reality of relying on 18-year-olds to close out SEC games, Bet being injured, Fontenot being Burr, and Hilliard, Vetmeyer non-factors. All that's very true. Look, here's the reality. Someone is asking me today, could this team get hot, make a run to Omaha? It's like, no. And this isn't reactionary to that what just happened. I mean, what you just saw is kind of a reason why. You don't have arms you trust, and who Jake just mentioned there. You have veteran guys like Hilliard, Vetmeyer, George. These guys that are veteran pitchers on your staff, and you're not confident giving them the ball in that situation. You just got a lot of guys on your roster, guys that you don't trust. I mean, they've shortened their bullpen, and ultimately they got some young guys with good stuff. Like Ty Floyd, I think, is a guy that's a prime candidate to be in the rotation next year, and Floyd gave up the bomb. Like when Floyd's on, he's really good. But he got the strikeout to end the 8th. When he's on, he's really good. When he struggles with his command and misses spots, that's what happens. Luke Cranford makes me sick thinking if LSU doesn't choke away 4 to 5 SEC games, we had multi-run lead, we'd be hovering close to 500. It's really, Luke. It's 3 games. I mean, it's like I mentioned. It's game 2 against Tennessee, game 2 against South Carolina, and the one just now. Those 3 games. But those 3 games, you'd be 9-9 at the halfway point. You'd be right in the thick of it. Let's see. Jacques tweeted his last ejection was against South Carolina in 2013. Kenny McBride, what's up? Do it for the gram. Jake Richardson. Michael Murphy, McCants wasn't leaving Alec Box. Michael, that was kind of my point. And actually, I don't mind telling you. So Richard Cross, who was on the call for SEC Plus, who's a great guy, and I know Richard, know him well. He does a really good job. Richard, so I tweeted, pop fly grand slam, blah. That thing doesn't even reach the warning track at the box. He texted me. He's like, pop fly grand slam. He's like, since when does the box not play small? I'm like, Richard, the box is 405 to straightaway center. I mean, it depends on the wind, right? I mean, if the wind's coming in off the river, then the box plays huge. When the weather change, the wind's turn, is blowing out, then yeah, I mean, you can leave the yard for sure. But man, I just 390 to straightaway center. Yeah, I mean that ain't the whole story, but man. Elias just gave a thumbs up. Boy, I'm really not in a good mood for giving a thumbs up. Well, you're not giving thumbs up to what just happened. You're giving a thumbs up to this video because that's very helpful. So thank you. Why do you leave Coleman in that long when you made way to save your arms and had plenty of arms better than him? See, here's the thing, Zachary. I don't think you had arms better than him. Like that's the problem. They don't trust Vittmeyer and George and Mikhail Hilliard and Brandon Cam. I don't even know if Cameron are traveled. Remember, you got a limited roster. You got a travel roster in the SEC. So I don't even know what guys at the end of the pen were even traveled. Who was even available at that point. I'm not okay going back to Fontenot after he threw 59 pitches a couple of nights ago. So, that's the point. You don't have this plethora, this abundance of pitchers that they didn't use. Let's see. Come on, Lenny. I'm going to throw something. Elias, what are your thoughts on Helmers being pulled after 3? I think that was probably the plan was to go. And we talked about this on Morning Scone today. I would have given the ball to Helmers, ideally, just to get me off to a good start, too. If you can get 3 innings out of him, great. And you just felt like you had enough arms to piece together the game, and you had a lead. You had a significant enough lead. I think it was 6-0 in the third. That was significant enough to where you felt like that was okay. Helmer's another guy who worked into and out of trouble all day long. So, we can second guess everything. I mean, they had a big lead. They blew it. It's baseball. It's one of the reasons that I love this game is that unlike any other sport, it is literally never over until you record the final out. I mean, it's not like, LSU was up like 42-10 with 5 minutes to go in the ball game, like in football. That was the equivalent of what just happened. 42-10 with 5 minutes to go and you lost. Like that doesn't happen in football. Baseball, that happens. Let's see. Jacques tweeted Pulmonary. Don't think he should have taken Coleman out earlier. Man. That's just not smart. That's just not a smart thing to say. Oh, listen, for those who maybe are new and don't follow my stuff all the time and aren't familiar, like my thing with baseball strategy is this, and I'm very consistent on this. If you have baseball is a game of failure, right? I mean, you fail 70% of the time, you're in the Hall of Fame. You know that old saying. If you have sound logic behind your strategy, then I can live with the result. Like I can live with whatever the result is and not criticize with the benefit of hindsight. If you have sound logic for why you did something. I need to hear from Pulmonary why he decided to leave Javen Coleman in at that point. And if he felt like, look, the guys we had coming up were better, there were righties coming or lefties coming up, and we felt like having Coleman, a lefty, in there, and he had matched up well against this guy, and this guy struggled against lefties, so he wanted the lefty. Like, if he was playing a matchup and that made sense to him, at least let me hear that. But it was obvious to the eye that Coleman was running out of gas. And yes, they left him in too long. Tim Edwards, I left Zurich. We were up 9-1 in the 8th. Just got home and saw we lost. Unbelievable. It was unbelievable to watch, Tim. Don, Jolie, what did Eli's team win? Eli is my nephew. The Traction Canes played this morning. Don, they tied. They were down 5-0. They were down 5-0, came back and tied it. They had the last bat, so they're batting in the 6th, or they were batting in the last inning, and they tied the game at 6. And a kid with 2 outs, runner on third, kid hits a base hit into right field. The right fielder throws the kid out at first base so the run doesn't get the score. They would have won otherwise, so they tied. John Galen, you're right, Matt. They've blown too many games that will cost them the postseason. It may not cost them the postseason, John. I still think that there's a path. Remember, what I said last week, it just exists in a vacuum, okay? Just look at the 10,000-foot view. Forget about the micro view of this game that just happened. Just bear with me. Look at the 10,000-foot view, okay? You came into this weekend with 4 SEC wins. And I said, win 1 this weekend, 1 next weekend, 2 each of the next 3 weekends. That puts you at 12. I think you're going to need at least 13 to solidify your case. So you're going to have to do something unexpected. You're going to have to win a series against Ole Miss or Arkansas or sweep somebody in those final 3 weeks. Well, they just won the series. So 10,000-foot view, win 1 against Arkansas, 2 against Auburn, 2 against Bama, 2 against A&M. You're at 13-17. You're in the SEC tournament. You win a game or 2 there, you're a lock. You're a lock for a regional berth. So in winning 2 games this weekend, they did increase their chances of making the NCAA tournament. Like, that's a fact. By winning this series. By losing that game, they had an opportunity to do something that would have pushed them into this conversation where you're going, all right, well, now you're at 7 with 9 to go. 10 with 15 with 12 to go, excuse me, sorry. I mean, like, they could maybe do something strange, get the 500 in conference play. Maybe they could make a push to be a top 16, to be a regional host site, if you had won that game. But you didn't, and now, like, you're gonna have to do something crazy to get to there, like sweep 2 series the rest, or win the Arkansas series, which I just don't think is happening. Let's see. C-Mac, what point was he proven by pushing Coleman to 70 pitches instead of 60? What else was he giving you after the 3-run homer? Bingo. C-Mac, I think you agree, man. I'm okay running him out there for the 8th. I was okay running him out there for the 8th. But after the pop-up and the walk, man. That was the point where it's like a basketball coach calling timeout, man. You have to stop a run, and you needed to settle that down a little bit, and didn't do it. Someone just said that LSU announced Nikki Fargas finally. Yep, LSU fans are going to have exciting news on Monday around 4 o'clock. Okay, they did finally announce it, yeah. LSU fans are going to have exciting news Monday around 4 o'clock. Get your strawberries ready, bro. Let's see. Sorry, y'all. Catch up here, y'all. Chris Brown. Vincent thought Fargas resigned a couple days ago. So Vincent, no, it was reported. This is an important differentiator. Okay, there were media outlets reporting that Fargas was going to resign, both local and national. I mean, you had national outlets reporting from the Aces, the WNBA team, that she was going to work for them. Like, but LSU net, like as of today, Nikki Fargas was still on LSUsports.net as the women's basketball coach. So LSU never made it official. They just did 10 minutes ago. And yes, they were getting their ducks in a row with a blonde-haired lady that people are going to be very excited to hear from on Monday at 4 o'clock. Let's see. A week ago, someone mentioned Coleman here in the chat. You forgot who he was since he hadn't thrown a pitch since early March, right? I did. I totally forgot. I wasn't even thinking Javen Coleman. I don't think 70 pitches is too long. Like, I don't think that number is way too long in and of itself. I just don't. It would. I mean, look, AJ Labus threw 120 last night. It was just a matter of, in that moment, he had hit his wall. He was in the windstorm. I mean, you needed to get him ejected out of there. I mean, you needed him out. You left him out there. Keep feeding up gopher balls, man. Trivia. Come on, folks. I know y'all ain't feeling it, but you need to hit the like. Thank you, Trivia. I appreciate that. That's Cajun Marine, by the way, is Trivia Carter. Yep, 54 watching, 40 likes. Would love to drive up those likes on YouTube. Thank you. Please hit the like button. That's just a massive, massive help. Thank you. And by the way, if you don't see the like button, X out of the chat, you'll see the like button pop up, and then right next to it, you'll see live chat. Tap that, the chat will come right back. Aunt Maud from Brobridge. Oh, God, that's so good. Aunt Maud from Brobridge. Oh, there's the box score. Okay, so let me see the box score here. All right. Oh, no, never mind. That's the post game. Whoops. All right. Where are we? Man, y'all are lit, bro. Let's see, Matthew, Matt, are you talking about Kramer's mom? Who's Kramer's mom? Is that the biggest baby born in Louisiana? Dawn, do you think there will be an announcement this week that Mulkey will become the women's head basketball coach? If so, I'm in. Yes, I do, Dawn. Maybe Monday at 4 o'clock. No bullpen, David Banner, no bullpen whatsoever. That's a problem, man. So I saw someone, sorry, y'all. I mean, I know y'all have there's a bunch of comments flowing. I'm sorry that I'm not getting to them all the time as they kind of flow off. But a lot of y'all are asking about, y'all are asking about recruiting. This is what I'll say. So this then becomes a macro conversation, right? Like a big picture conversation. LSU is still recruiting exceptionally well. I mean, LSU ends up with top recruiting classes every year in baseball. I mean, look at Dylan Cruz. Look at Trey Morgan. I mean, look at some of look at Jordan Thompson. You went and got him from California. Cruz you got from Florida. I mean, look at what you got, man. I mean, LSU has continued to recruit exceptionally well. I think the problem is you're with limited scholarship money and with limited rosters. Let me say it a different way. You're not recruiting the roster correctly. Let me say it another way. You can go get 4 of the top 10 wide receivers in the country, but if you only sign 1 offensive lineman in a class, that's a problem, right? That's kind of where LSU is. You recruit a whole bunch of guys that are 1 and 9 hole hitters, guys that look like center fielders and middle infielders, and where does your power come from? Where do all the run producers in the lineup come from? Like the fact that Gio DiGiacomo was batting cleanup today, I'll say, and this is not a knock on Gio at all. I mean, he came into this season. I was not high on him. I think he certainly is very fast, but as an offensive player on this team, he's never proven that he could hit. He's handled the bat pretty well this year. But the fact that Giovanni DiGiacomo is batting cleanup at LSU today in a road game against Ole Miss is a joke. Like not Gio playing. I mean, he played very well. Don't miss it. But Gio batting fourth, batting cleanup. A dude that's as big as my pinky batting cleanup in a road conference game for LSU. That's a joke. That's a joke. How you're allocating your scholarships and recruiting your roster matters. I mean, look at the bullpen. I mean, you got arms, but you don't have guys that you trust in certain situations to go get you outs. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Tyler Lambert, LSU made it official. Fargus out. Just talked about that. I know this morning you kept saying she was listed another step closer. Yes. I mean, yes, they are. Michael Hall, heart-wrenching loss. Would you take 2 out of 3 before first pitch Thursday? Absolutely. And it's not even a question. It's that. So, Michael, here's the interesting thing about that, right? And you're right. Here's the interesting thing. We're about to find out if this team is mentally tough. Like, disappointing losses happen in baseball all the time. I mean, turn on SportsCenter any given day, and you will see a major league closer blowing a save. Happens. But here, do you have it to just get back on the horse and go take the ball the next day and get 3 outs? We're about to find out with this team, which is young, which just went on the road and experienced that for the first time, which just happened to them. Well, actually, they experienced against Tennessee, too. And they've been in that situation now 3 times, Tennessee, South Carolina, and now today, and they've crumbled. Like, and last week, remember, was the first game of the doubleheader, and they crumbled. Like, game 3 was the second game of the doubleheader. LSU got whitewashed. I mean, they were like a fighter who was punch drunk. They got knocked silly, and they never recovered. They got blown out. But look at Ole Miss. They stumbled last night. It went badly. This game started very badly for them, but a veteran team kept taking their hacks, and boom, they broke through. Dude, when the game was 6-0, I tweeted in the third inning. It was 6-0 in the third inning. I tweeted, "Don't stop scoring. Got to score more runs." Because that's always possible in a game 3 in the SEC. When teams get to the back of their bullpen and you run out of pitching and you know LSU doesn't trust the back of its bullpen, that something like that can happen. It's just the way it can go, man. Cockeye, mulky madness. Kramer's mom has it going on. What else we got, y'all? Anything else, y'all? We're out of here. We're gonna go get some dinner. I'm gonna shower and clean up. I'm gonna get some dinner here in a little bit. Have a little night out. So, appreciate everybody for watching. As always, man, it's been fun. Where are we? Any more? Optimistic about LSU's freshman pitchers. I hope so, Kyle. The thing about, like you mentioned, so Helmers and Edwards, I don't think either of them have a dominant pitch. I think they have some good moxie about them. Floyd probably has the best stuff of them. I think Coleman is in that mix too. Money Money can throw hard, but his secondary stuff isn't very good. And I don't really know what we know about Fowler and Milas yet. But my point is, you got 1, 2, 3, 4. You got 7 arms you listed right there. I can't tell you definitively to think any of those guys today are big leaguers. You know what I mean? Not that they'll be big leaguers today, but like that they're going to be big leaguers. And when you look at Vanderbilt and Florida and Arkansas and places like that, it is obvious when they have guys roll through that are going to be that. Anyway, all right, let's see. Any more over here on YouTube? Happy for Bregman's success. I saw someone post on here that he just hit. Vincent said he hit a 3-run homer. That is awesome. Thank you, Stephen. Kramer's brother is the world-renowned pole vaulter. Got it. And his dad is the one that sings "Mandolin Rain," right? And that's that guy. Let's see. Brandon Reese, who would you get to replace Paul Maneri? Kevin O'Sullivan. I think that's where you start. If you're serious, you go and you don't let them tell you no. And I'll tell you this, Brandon, before you smirk at that. A couple weeks ago, when the news first broke about Nicky Fargas, go back. I may go back and pull this audio because the Nicky Fargas story broke during AFR, and the first thing I said was, "You go make Kim Mulkey tell you no." If you're serious, like if you want to, I mean, the other thing I said is like, if you really don't care and you're okay going to get a young up and coming coach, pay him $500,000 a year, and let the women's basketball program wallow in whatever it can be, or maybe come on the up or whatever. Okay, but if you want to win, I mean, you have a lot to sell Kim Mulkey, so go get her, make her tell you no, and apparently they succeeded. So I mean, it's like I always say. I mean, until the coach is at the podium, like being introduced, it ain't done. But I mean, everything with Mulkey, I mean, I've already been told contract numbers and all the details and everything. So if that fell apart at this point, I'd be stunned. But I'd say the same about baseball. You go to Kevin O'Sullivan because I think he is someone that would be interested. CK Genomics said try Louisville coach. So about Dan McDonald at Louisville, and Dan McDonald's not leaving Louisville. That's the problem. Like that's the thing. Like, he's at a place where you're not going to pry him out of there because he can win big there. He can get to Omaha and compete for championships there. He's got resources. He's got a good administration. He likes where he is. His family likes where they are. Like that's a guy that you're not going to be able to pry out of there. Same with Tim Corbin at Vanderbilt. He's not leaving Vanderbilt. You have a realistic shot at making your case to O'Sullivan. Like you've got a shot because he'll listen. And that's where it's got to start. It's the same thing like what Kim Mulkey said. It's like timing is everything, and we'll talk more about that when it's time to cross that bridge. It's just so interesting, you know. An hour ago, LSU was up 9 runs or 8 runs on Ole Miss, getting ready to sweep them, and I'm getting text to my text line. Man, can this team go on a run? Can they win a Super Regional, get to Omaha? Like, should I put like? And then they give up that lead. Now everybody's like, fire the coach. Who's next? What are we doing? Like the swings of emotions that y'all have are crazy. Anyway, all right, y'all. Let's get out of here. Real quick, one more time for HUDCO, y'all. If you're watching on Facebook and YouTube, appreciate y'all. I know a lot of bad weather came through last night. We already had calls this morning. For HUDCO. So if y'all had hail or wind, if you see shingles on the ground or anything like that, give us a shout. Just go to the website, hudcoroofing.com, hudcoroofing.com. There's a contact form. You can fill out a little info and we'll get you squared away. Okay, y'all. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Peace.